Hello everyone. So today we are going to do a class on the Chimney Sweepers by Charles Lamb. So in this essay, Charles Lamb says that he likes to meet the young chimney sweepers who have just started in the profession. So here in this essay, he talks about the very mundane people such as the chimney sweepers and their simple life, and also about their a strange fascination for the sassafras tea, and that tea is very much admired by the chimney sweepers, the young sweepers, and there was a person called Mr. Red. He claims that his shop was the main initiator who started the business, and it is the most authentic shop, and the other shops were just his imitators. And Charles Lamb also said that he was very fascinated by seeing how the young chimney sweepers, they disappeared into the chimney. So you see, in the Victorian times and also in the romantic times, the people had the act of child labor. So the small chimney sweepers were engaged in this work because chimneys were very much narrow, and so the huge people, or the big people, the fat people, they cannot go inside. So they used to, that's why, employ thin and slender boys, small boys of around of around before adolescence age. So it is around like 9 to 10 years. So they used to employ this kind of small children to clean their chimneys, and when they used to go inside these chimneys, they used to come out as the ghost of Macbeth, and they were all covered in ash, or the chimney soot. And Lamb said that he was very much fascinated by watching this view. And Lamb used to say that he was very fascinated by seeing those young chimney sweepers who used to come to the street to enjoy their delicacy of, or the saloop, which is also known as the sassafras tea. And Lamb, once upon a time, what happened? Lamb used to narrate an anecdote. There, what happened? Lamb, he fell on that street where the chimney sweepers assembled for drinking their delicacy. And what happened? One of the chimney sweeper, he used to smile. He smiled in such a manner which was very much infectious for Lamb, and he says that that smile still rings in his ears. He has not been able to forget that smile of the chimney sweeper. So in this aspect, Lamb said that he was not very much interested in knowing the pair of teeth about people. So he was not interested whether in a fine pair of teeth, or whether the wealthy elite class of people, and he was not interested in knowing about the teeth of the men or women. But he said that the smile of the chimney sweeper was so infectious that it had a grave impression on his heart. And what does Lamb encounters in their smile? Lamb encounters in their smile is that a smile of a dying nobility, means a dying aristocracy. Okay, so he also refers to the poor condition of the chimney sweepers who make mere wages that are not sufficient for their living. So when he talks about nobility, so Lamb has always a tendency to put inside anecdotes or stories which he had heard, or which were also autobiographical in nature. So this story was something which he had heard himself, and that was a story of a young chimney sweep. So as he was cleaning the chimneys, he fell off from the chimney, and he landed himself in a castle, and in the bedroom of the castle, and there he used to, what he did, the young chimney sweep, he took a nap on that castle. So later on, it was actually revealed that chimney sweep was actually a noble person. Okay, he belonged to the aristocracy, he belonged to that castle only. So he was lured back, means so what happened during this periods, when this child labor was full in practice, a lot of young children were lured by this people who used to traffic these young boys. And so similarly, this person of who also belonged to the aristocratic class, he also was kidnapped, or maybe he was lured, and then he finally he ended in himself in the bedroom of the castle. So he took a nap in that castle. So that is how Lamb actually tries to depict the fate of the young boys, and who faces some kind of misfortunes in their early period of life, and then later they again trace back their way home. So during these lines, what we can see is that Lamb has a sort of, a huge empathy for this young children. He feels a lot for these young children, and that is why he also felt a sort of pity, a compassion. And he said that his friend James White, he also shared similar feelings for this chimney sweepers. And this person James White, what he used to do, he used to organize a feast annually, and the elder chimney sweepers were excluded, and in this feast only the young chimney sweeps were being invited, and they were served by the young women, and also James White himself also served them ales. So when he used to pour this drink, he used to represent it like some fine wine. And these people, these young chimney sweeps, they also felt a, a great privilege to have been treated that way. So they all waited for this special day to come to their life, and when this fest occurred, and then what happened after the death of James White, what happened, this fest was also the stopped taking place. Okay, this fest also stopped taking place. And with the death of James White, what happened, the half of the fun of the chimney sweepers was also taken. So these are the things that you need to remember. Now, what are the important points that you need to remember in this essay? So, firstly, about the chimney sweepers. Who are these chimney sweepers? The young boys. And how did Lamb fancy them? Lamb fancied them for their innocence, and also for their infectious smile, which he once encountered himself. And also we have to remember about their strange fascination for the sassafras tea. So, and where did they get this most authentic tea? That was in the Salopian house. And who owned the Salopian house? It was owned by Mr. Reed. And who was the person who used to host this annual feast for these chimney sweepers? He was Mr. James White, and he used to invite all the young chimney sweepers. We have to remember here that the elder ones were excluded. So he used to feed them a lot of delicacies. And what happened with the death of this person, the half of the fun of the chimney sweepers was also taken back. So these are the aspects in the essay that are important to remember. And so please do study these. And also we have to remember that I think in the personal elements summary, I have told you all that James White is actually a real friend of Charles Lamb. So this is something you need to remember. Thank you.